Okay, I'm recording.
Well,
Give me one
welcome
second.
to week 2, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to share the screen and pull up some things, Dr. Revis.
Okay.
And okay, give me a second to find the document. Here we are. That's the okay. Here we are. Okay, Dr. Revis, if you
Okay.
go ahead now. Okay.
All right. Okay, guys. So you can see the agenda tonight. Excuse me. Since we don't have a presentation, we're going to talk a little bit about your CAAP Task 1 that was due on yesterday evening. Dr. Stedman's going to take you through the graduation requirements as Dr. Stone had asked us to do in the town hall meeting on Monday. If you missed that meeting, hopefully you will review the recording. Then we're going to have a brief discussion about our Norhouse Assignment 1 discussion. Then we will give you some information and prep you for your Case Study 1. Also, we will look at the Johari Window Assignment 3 and also the Strength-Based Finder because that does take some time, Assignment 8. And then we will answer any questions you have on CAAP Tasks 2 through 4. And then we will review our schedule of presentations for next week. So we should be able to finish this up in about an hour this evening. However, next week when our presentations start, please plan on being in class at least an hour and 15 minutes, maybe an hour and 30 minutes. Okay, everybody good with the agenda? Okay, CAAP Task 1.
Wait a minute, Dr. Revis. Let me pull this up as well. I want to. Well, I think they understand the class norms.
Okay.
I think they understand the class norms. And I want to stop sharing, then we'll come back in just a minute. Again,
Okay.
before we get started, we're going to cover a lot of things. First of all, Dr. Revis and I have talked more than one time since we met last week. And this is not open for discussion. It's just that, first of all, we both understand that it probably is an adjustment for you with us this summer, that we are handling things maybe differently than what you have been used to in the past, but we understand what it's going to take to get you across the finish line. And again, I can't emphasize enough the fact that we have a short time to get it in. I've gotten some comments back before, and this is not putting anything on anybody that you've had in the past. I can't control how other people, run their classes, what they do or what they don't do. I'm responsible for me. Dr. Revis is responsible for herself. The two of us have worked together as a team for several years now, and she can almost finish my sentences and I can almost finish hers. With that being said, at the end of this course, first of all, you don't know me, but or Dr. Revis, but we both are leaders of integrity. My name and her name is going to be attached at the end of this semester, and it's going to say that so-and-so, we highly recommend, or we recommend so-and-so to finish this program. You'll be able to graduate. We're going to say that that we support you going into a leadership role. We're going to say that we support your work going to DPI, and whether you're in South Carolina, it has to go to North Carolina DPI, that we support it, and that it's strong enough that if somebody looks at it, that that we have no qualms about the fact that you're ready. Our names have to be attached to that because we're the end of this journey for you. And so is Dr. Maraglia and Dr. Bullis. So it's not that we're trying to make life difficult for you. It's that we want, if I'm going to tell you, like I tell my sons, my two sons, I said, you represent me wherever you go because you carry my last name and you better carry it well. So my students, my 18 students that's assigned to me, it's almost like you've got my last name. You're attached to me. It's almost like you've got Dr. Revis's last name. You're attached to her. So we take it very personally. So we've pushed hard this week, and I have, I've cut it right to the bone sometimes, but it's not to be mean. That's not my intentions at all. It's for you, and I truly know that if you'll work with us and follow the process, do what we ask you to do, just move on and just do it. You don't have time to sit there and to think about it, argue about it, or whatever, pout about it. You don't have time. Just go on and do it. And I can promise you this: at the end of this journey, you will look back and you'll probably say, Dr. Revis, thank you. Dr. Stedman, thank you. And that's, we want you to be the very best, and we're going to push you to be the very best. I wouldn't do this if I didn't want this for the students. I can guarantee you it's certainly not for the pay, is it, Dr. Revis? It's because
No.
we love what we do. So please know that you can't, when we ask you to do something, you can't sit on it. You don't have time. You figure it out. And this is getting personal. I don't care if you take it to the bathroom with you, work on it in there, I don't care. Just use every minute of the day that you have to get it done. Okay? Is that fair? I told you we're going to love you, but we're going to love you hard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Is that all right? Okay, Dr. Revis?
Well, let's talk a little bit about the CAAP 1. I realize that many of your instructors up until now may not have had a strict guideline or a deadline on when different tasks of the evidence work is due. Well, we do. And if you don't get it in on time, if you don't get it to your coach on time for him or her, depending on who you have, to give you feedback, you're not going to be ready to submit it to us on Tuesday evening for the CAAP. So you've got to manage your time. And now that you know the cycle for the CAAP, you know what you have to do. And so I was disappointed. I had 4 people didn't turn in anything for the CAAP, and I don't understand that. Anyway, it's 10 points off every day you don't turn it in. And 3 people who turned it in, it was very clear to me that they had not gotten feedback from Dr. Bullis. And in fact, I talked with one person via email, and she told me, I just didn't pace myself well enough to get it to Dr. Bullis in time for feedback. So clear up all those issues, get on your schedule. We're gearing up. I know professionally this is the busiest time of year you ever
It
have.
is.
It is. And we understand that. But we can't wait till your school is out for you to start gearing up. It just won't work that way for you. So, anyway, Dr. Bullis and I are going to communicate, and he's going to let me know who has not gotten approval to submit. And I'm not going to look at it if you didn't get his approval to submit your task.
Me either, Dr. Revis. And I have talked with Dr. Maraglia today, and we put the same system in place so that it's not holding us up or holding students up. She's going to send me, when she clears you, she's going to send me an email. And so if you submit something and I don't have the email from Dr. Maraglia, I'm going to send it back to you because I've got to hear from her first.
Um, at least 3 people I had to send back and ask you to go back and work with Dr. Bullis. You should be able to re-upload it in that same place where you submitted it before, but I only give you one revision. Okay? And then we got to move on. And just, I know it's hard to get in this schedule of doing a task a week, but you got to. When we get to the skip, guess what? You've got to do 3 tasks in a week and a half. 3. That's a lot of work. So, just pace yourself, get you a good calendar, get you a routine of when you're going to do what, and get it done. So, any questions on the evidence work?
I want to challenge. Some of you have done it, have started doing it, but I want to challenge you. You're getting school over with. You need to talk with your family. You need to say, I need a whole day to myself, or I need, a couple of days to myself. Let somebody help take care of the children, somebody take on the responsibilities. And you can camp out if you have camp out and get the CAAP done. And that would give you more time to be able to spread the PSYOP out. So, camp out, you just may deliberately do it. Just say, family, I'm just about through. I need your help. I promise you, they'll help you. Somebody will help you. Okay?
I've got one more comment about the
Well,
CAP. I also have 6 candidates in my class who've already submitted everything to TaskScream and have scores back. And if you're one of those 6, I need you to stay after class so I thought I could just go in and do an override and put your grade in, but I can't. I need to share with you what I need you to do so you can earn your grades for me, not only just task stream, but for me. So you will 6 will stay after class. I would appreciate it.
okay, and I'm just going to refer back to the helpful hints that we've given you and the guidelines. That CAAP helpful hints, the PSYOP helpful hints. Promise you, if you do everything on that step by step, then you should have no problems. I am going to ask Casey, and who else did I say? And Kristen. They're both from South Carolina. Some of the feedback is we realize that there are some things different for South Carolina than there are for North Carolina. However, you have to get certified in North Carolina. So we have to use our instruments. And we know, just like it's been brought to my attention today, that Dr. Maraglia is asking for the teacher working condition survey from some, and you don't have it in South Carolina, but you've got information and data that is equal to that. And in your narrative work, you can simply say, while we don't use the teacher working condition survey in South Carolina, we use the following, and I have extracted the information to be compatible with the teacher working condition survey. And you do that. You put that disclaimer in there and you do it. So I'm going to ask Casey if she would start out. She's just going to, for those in South Carolina that are having problems, they're going to do a quick overview of where you can find stuff. So Casey.
All right. Hey, South Carolina people. I sure you guys have struggled. I struggled a little bit at the beginning trying to find data for the teacher working condition survey, but I don't know if your school makes you do. We do the school climate survey through Power School. And all of that data is on your school report card, which I'm sure if you're again like me, you probably know your school report card inside and out. So just real quick, on your school's report card, it's under environment and it says school climate. And this pretty much at least all of the collected data from that particular school year that you need to know. Um, and it's weird. It's in a weird place, and it's weird titles. But it's all questions and data from the school climate survey. Um, and it's mixed in with parent perceptions and teacher,
Yes.
oh my gosh, who are those people? Students. Student perceptions of various information, but it's there. And if I can help anybody out with that, I had the forethought to screenshot the questions when we did our survey. So if I think it's standard for South Carolina teachers, but if anybody would like that resource, I would be more than happy to share because it's not, it's not something I created or anything. It's public content, but they don't have the actual survey out um, for unless somebody else has found it somewhere. But if anybody wants to reach out, I'd be more than happy to share that.
Okay.
But all that information is on your school report card under environment and school climate.
Okay. Thank you, Casey. Kristen, what would you like to add to that?
So the website for the South Carolina report cards is just screportcard.com. And there is also in that same section that Casey was talking about under the environment section, school climate and classroom environment. And the classroom environment is where I got the information about how many years the teachers have been working, about attendance rates, experience leadership. So there is a lot of information there, and it's screportcards.com, and you just type in the school that you want to look for. I also used some information from the teacher empowerment survey that we did in the fall from the first class. And also we're a Title I school, so I also used our Title I survey that gave some information about professional development and resources, funding and budget and that sort of stuff. So those are my 3 resources.
Okay. And I hope that helps. And South Carolina people, you need to figure out who you are. And a lot of you know who you are from South because you've been together, for a long time. Reach out and support each other, if you need to reach out and support each other. Janine, did that help?
Yes, sir. I guess the thing is, Dr. Moringa did not, I don't know if she understood that because I did it at first because I couldn't find it. And I had to revise it and redo it all over. And I ended up using the South Carolina TWC because I just didn't know what else to use. And so I did it my first time I did that. I used the South Carolina report and she told me that wasn't right.
Okay, I'll communicate with her, okay? And I'll let her
Thank
know
you.
what we've said, and Dr. Revis will do the same thing for Dr. Bullis in case there's a problem. But we will clear that. And but thank you for making me aware. But South Carolina, I hope this helps, with this. And just remember, this is not minimizing what Dr. Bullis does or what once you clear them, it's still got to go through our eyes. And we have the final say so on what is and what isn't, okay? So for all of you, but it's still got to go through that hurdle. But Janine, I will communicate with her, okay? Okay, Dr. Revis.
Okay. Let's go on, and Dr. Stebbin, if you will talk about graduation requirements.
Okay, let me share again. And this is in your course shell, and we're not going to spend a lot of time with it. You can go to your course shell. It's a PowerPoint. When you go there and when you open up your Blackboard shell, it's right there at the very top when you open up. But this is telling you how to apply for graduation. Those of you that were not able to join us on Monday evening, Dr. Stone has put that he's put that meeting in there as well. But this guides you step by step what you need to do. When do you need to do it? Yesterday. So if you have not done this yet, you need to go ahead and make this top priority, and I'm going to tell you why. For all practical purposes, and he said this on Monday night, for those that were there, you heard it. For all practical purposes, even though you don't march until December, for all practical purposes, you will actually graduate from the program at the end of the summer, about 2 weeks after you finish the program, pending you do everything you're supposed to do with us, and I'm hoping you will. Then in 2 weeks, you will be cleared with DPI, both South Carolina students and North Carolina students, for certification purposes. And for all practical purposes, you will be an administrator. You will have your certification in that, so it will not hinder. You can move on. You can apply for jobs with no problems with your certification. But you've got to apply for graduation, and if you don't do it by a certain deadline, and it's on here, you look for that. It's $150, I think, now. But if you wait until after that deadline date, it goes up substantially. So, to save money, go ahead and get this done. If you have any questions at all about graduation, call the Gardner Webb, the education office, or call the registrar's office, and they should be able to guide you with any concerns that you may have. And if you can't get through to them, just let Dr. Revis or me know, and we'll reach out to Dr. Stone and let him know that you're having problems if there are problems with anybody. Okay? So that information is there for you. Dr. Revis?
Dr. Stedman?
Yes.
I went through the process today for graduation, the application, and the screenshots don't match what our platform looks like anymore, just so that everybody knows.
Hey, thank you for that, Kristen. I wouldn't have known that because I can't see what you see, but that was what was said to us. But thank you for sharing that, Kristen.
Okay, I think you are seeing my screen now. Let's talk a little bit about your first assignment out of the Norhouse leadership book. And I really love this assignment because it really makes you think about the differences, the similarities and differences between leadership and management. And so the prompt asks you to pick a quote that resonated with you and then write your reflection and how, what this means to you. So I just wanted to share a few really good quotes that came out of my students, and then we have one for Dr. Stedman. Um, in essence, the function of management, of course, involves accomplishing activities, executing plans, optimizing resources, and ensuring that an operation is efficient. Whereas the function of leadership is to influence others, create and emphasize a vision for change, and motivate others to embrace that shared goal. And then Cameron went on to say a little bit different twist. Leadership centers on influence, vision, and inspiration, which is an emotional investment in people. Management, on the other hand, is rooted in structure, control, and logistics, with little emotional support or attachment to people. And then she went on to reflect that. I know that we all sitting here in class tonight aspire to be a leader because and this is the difficult part of leadership, when you are creating that vision for change and you're motivating others and helping others embrace that vision of change. It's difficult. That's the hardest thing. In my opinion, and it may just be my leadership style, this function right here, easy peasy. The management piece, easy. This is where the rubber meets the road. When you're trying to influence others, that's a hard job. It's hard to do. Now, my question is, Can organizational leaders be highly effective without effective organizational management? Can organizational leaders be highly effective without effective organizational management? I propose they can't be. It's just like a teacher in the classroom. First thing that has to be done is what? Order, structure, and management. You got to get a handle on that before anything you say, any effective instruction is going to go on. So I think you got to be both. You've got to make sure that those management tasks are where they need to be. You've got to make sure that your organization operates in an organized, efficient way. That when a certain situation arises, your teachers know what to do. It doesn't change every week. They have to have routines just like our students do. And guys, I've always said, and I don't like saying, I'm going to say it to you, but I don't like saying it in a crowd of teachers. But I think you'll understand what I'm going to say. Working with adults is kind of like working with kids, your students. They have to have the same kind of structure, routine, and they have to have the same kind of motivation and support and leadership. And if you ever in doubt as to how to do something, think about if this were a classroom. And all of you, I am very convinced, are highly effective classroom teachers. You know what it takes to have that organization and structure within your classroom. Well, you got to have that in school. And if you are not, that is not your strong suit, and you think, well, I'll just delegate that to my assistant principal, that's all well and good. But guess whose shoulders it falls back on if something goes awry? It comes right back to you. You better be sure the organization is operating like a well-oiled machine, or your people can't grab a vision because they're shuffling all the time, just trying to react to whatever's happening. Okay?
And Dr. Revis, when they get to their strength-based assignment, when you said that well-oiled machine, it reminded you're going to, throughout that book, when you get to that book, you're going to have a lot of those kinds of references, but that'll help what she has just said. You'll understand that much more clearly, by the time you get through with that assignment.
And I know that most of you probably have worked in different organizations and or different schools, and I'm sure you can note the differences pretty quickly. If there is structure and routines and people know how to do the business of school, then you can really get down to the important stuff. But if it's just chaotic, I worked in one school, oh my goodness, most chaotic situation I've ever been in. And it was frustrating to me. I was an assistant principal. And so I offered to the principal, do you mind if I look at some routines and structure somehow we're going to do certain things, certain tasks. And he was all for it, but oh, it was just chaotic. Now we'll move to what I consider an exemplar, and this comes from Tony Smith, one of Dr. Simmons' students. So not only did you have to identify a quote that resonated with you, you had to react to that. And so, this person starts out, and I love this, giving us a little background about you because we don't know what your leadership experiences are. It could be you've had many. It could be that you've only been a teacher leader within your school. But he shares in the first few sentences how he's transitioned from a doer to a delegator to a leader. And this is where you want to be. So, Dr. Stimman, you want to take on and share anything that really stood out to you with this work?
Okay, Tony, I'm going to put you on the spot. Tony, if you would open up, and I want you just to respond briefly to your work, if you don't mind, what she has highlighted, and what generated this thinking with you. There was a lot of thought put into this assignment by Tony.
Well, kind of like what my big thing is, and it kind of as I wrote in there, I've actually had like a lot of training through the CETL program, which Colleen and Heidi have also gone through and passed, and also from UNC School of Government, they do like a Chief Technology Officer program or a certified governmental. It's like CGCIO, so governmental Chief Information Officer. Um, so I've kind of been through like a lot of leadership stuff, and so I tend to have to think about this quite a bit. And again, my coworkers Heidi and Colleen have done the same things I have. So I mean, I literally just kind of saw it, and I'm like, oh, I'm used to this because I've had to do it before, and I have to think about it. And even in my own job, I have to think about it because I'm used to coming from, I started out as an elementary school teacher who liked technology. And so I literally had to teach people that taught me how to use email. And so through all this time, I've basically had to like train people to use something, whether it's in instructional technology, where it's an LMS. And so I have to think about it quite a bit because I have to break it down. I have to make people feel comfortable. Make things easy, make things accessible. So what I wrote was really just what floats around in my head day to day. I mean, my groups from last time, everything I put in there was stuff I've told them before. So
Move on down, Dr. Revis, past your highlighted area down there. Stop there. I like what Tony said here. He says, I gave pause after reading these statements, reflecting on my past observations of various situations under different administrations. And this is how you grow as a leader. You have to reflect back on those lived experiences. And those lived experiences, good or bad, help mold you into who you are becoming. You have to fight against some things sometimes that maybe might not, are not the right way. You have to fight against those demons sometimes that are out there. You to make sure that you are doing the right thing. And then I like what Tony went on and said. He says, after some contemplation, I decided that I want to be a leader that enhances both organizational processes and ushers meaningful change to improve our organizations. There was just a lot of thought put into this, Tony, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Look, again, it's kind of been my guide and mantra for 25 years. I tell people like, look, I want teachers to have more time to teach or more time in their day. I want everything to just work. Like I always joke in the technology realm, if you know my name, I have failed because it means that I try to make the process for anything, tech support, student information system, I try to make it seamless so you don't realize it was ever a problem in the first place. And that's not, especially with this infinite campus transition that we did this past year, and I led that. Sometimes it's not always easy, but it's just about making things easy for people and making things work. Because I don't want a teacher standing in the classroom telling me they can't log into their device or a student can't use their device. I just want to make it seamless.
Thank you, Tony.
And I had some really good thought put into this
Too, there were a
assignment.
lot of other good ones too, Dr. Revis.
Yes. And so we'd love to be able to highlight some of your work. We don't mean if we highlight these 3 pieces of work that the rest of them were bad. It's just that we're going to try to do that as we go through. So, very good responses to that. Now I want to talk about case study 2. And I think I find that here.
Dr. Revis, before you get into case study 1, before you get into it, let's start out with talking to them because this is an assessment.
Okay.
An assessment means, okay, for South Carolina, let me use South Carolina for example. South Carolina, you have either had or you will have to take the praxis in South Carolina. to get reciprocal certification in South Carolina. But when you respond, because you've given a lot of case studies for those of you that the scenarios that you have to respond to, and what you say in there can't be just shallow information. It must be supportive information. So we're looking for, if you did that case study and you just put a blurb here to this, a blurb here, then you didn't do it justice. You haven't put enough thought and time into it. And what we need you to do is I want to know that what you learned in law and finance, what you learned there, I want you to know if you refer to statute so and so and so and so, I don't want you to regurgitate, or we don't want you to regurgitate that entire law, but we want you to give in your explanation, we want to know that you understand what you're talking about and how it relates to that. If you refer to district policy, don't just say that. Or if a lot refer to Title IX, so what? How does Title IX relate to that? You put enough information in there that ties it all together. And if I was grading your praxis, or if you were going before an interview, and these are interview scenarios, and Dr. Lamb will talk about that on week 10, you will go into an interview for principalship or assistant principalship, and they will give you scenarios, and you have to talk through it. Sometimes they'll ask you to write it. Sometimes you have to talk through it, but you can't be vague with your responses. And so we're looking for, I'd rather you give me more than not enough. Is that good, Dr. Ravis?
Yes, and we want you to back up what you would do by school law and your district protocol for a problem like this.
Right.
It's just not, this is what I would do. Well, why? Why would you choose to do this or do something else? I mean, why? You got to know your school law, guys.
Now, we
And I
don't
know
want
you
your
do.
opinion. We don't want your opinion. Don't say in my
No,
opinion. It
no,
must be based on law. It must be based on policy.
right?
Okay.
Some of you are starting to work ahead in the assignments. And if you want to do that, that's fine before we go over them and tell you our expectations. If you want to try that, that's fine. I would rather personally, students in my class, if you've got extra time, spend that on the CAAP and the PSYOP and stay with the class on your assignments. And I probably won't move forward and grade them until we get close to the week that we are doing it. Okay? So that's just kind of how I do it. So that's coming up this week. You have to do this case study 1.
Okay. Are there any questions about the case study? Do you understand what the expectations are? So, and I'll be honest with you, I don't mind. I had one student that reached out to me, and because they reached out to me, I gave them another opportunity to go back and fix some things. So, if you don't feel comfortable with what you've done this one time, I'm going to let you go back and fix it and send it back to me to give me the best that you can be in it. If you feel that, and you'll know based on my response or my grade, you'll know if you need to do that, but I'm going to leave it up to you. But I appreciate that student reaching out to me. It meant a lot. So.
All right, Dr. Stedman, you want to talk about the Johari window?
And I need to share again. While I'm pulling this up, remember we said last week that that the majority of what you're going to be doing as far as your assignments are concerned this week are going to be based on a self-reflection, looking, at yourself, where you are and where you might need to be, looking at your strengths, and I don't like to say weaknesses, but areas that need to be strengthened. And we all have them. We're none exempt from that. Where am I? Here am I.
I should have just
Okay.
left my screen up. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay, that's okay. I'm going to come. I just have so much on here saved that it takes me a minute. I'm not fast like these students are.
I'm not either. My
But that's-
grandchildren are awesome on this stuff.
They are. Let's see, schedule of activity. See. Where
I
is it?
think it's under assignments.
I was
Scroll
just
down
saying,
under assignments.
okay, that's what I'm looking for. Okay, thank you. I lost my train of thought, but that happens when you pass a certain age. I won't say what that is, but it does happen. Let me help me find it, y'all. Assignments, meet your instructor. Start here. Here it is. No, that's schedule of activities. Let me see that. Maybe that's there.
There you go.
There, yeah, assignments for grade. I had to think for a minute. And then I'm going to have to come back to, but here's assignment 3, the Johari window. Let's open that up, and it tells you that it's from Glickman chapter 6. So that means that you need to go back and read in that book. But under week 3, you will find the following. Okay, you go back to week 3, and when you click on week 3, underneath that, it will have work that you need to read on what is the Johari window. A good, just a good assignment in reading there that will help you fully understand it. Then we found a YouTube that talks about the Johari window. Very good explanation of it. And then there's a Johari window assessment. Once the assessment has been taken, please reflect on what the results reveal to you. This is a self-reflection. So you're looking at yourself based on the results. But again, remember, this is all about you. It's not about another person. It's not about Dr. Evans, it's not about me. This is about you. You're looking in the mirror at yourself. Really want you to really focus on this assignment. And this is really the first big delve into yourself in an assignment. So make sure that you do your best with that and give us your best. The other assignment is going to be one that you need to pace yourself because of the magnitude of this assignment. And this goes back to the strength-based leadership book. And remember, we said all of you needed to have a brand new copy, and the back of it, there should be an envelope at the back that has not been opened. Don't open it up until you get ready to take the assessment, because that will give you all the information you need to take your personal assessment. But let's quickly look at this. This is a pretty extensive assignment. You're going to read the book, and as you're reading it, these right here have been taken, the responses, what you have to respond to, have been taken directly from the book. There's nothing that you can't find basically word for word back in the book. But these are the 9 of the biggest takeaways that you should have once you have finished the reading and finished the work that you'll be doing. But this goes back to what we've talked about today. But you dig a little bit deeper with it. You know, the difference between a leader and a manager, citing valid research in the discussion. In other words, what does the research have to say about that? So you go deeper with it. I'm just going come on. Look at number 4. Without an awareness of your strengths, it's almost impossible for you to lead effectively. You've got to what does that mean? After you've read this work, what does that mean to you? Now, if you send me 2 or 3 sentences, or Dr. Evans, you have not done this assignment justice. You've got to think about this. And it's not about anybody else. It's about you. This is, what does this say to you? Look at number 7. While solving difficult problems is an essential part of effective leadership, identifying opportunities for the future plays a much more important role in creating hope and optimism. That's pretty deep. But you've got, as a leader, as a principal of a school, you've got to have that kind of forethought, vision. So this is going to make you think outside the box, and that's what we want. It's going to make you dig deep and think outside the box. Now, this is what all of you are going to do. All of this is independent work at this point. You're going to read your work. You're going to respond to all of this. Then this is the only time your Zoom team will meet. Your Zoom team is different from your PSEL or your presentation that you have to do. It's different from that. This is your Zoom team. You're going to decide again who the Zoom leader will be. You're going to send out a link. You're going to plan the meeting. You're going to set up an agenda. How what everybody's how they're going to participate. You're going to keep it going. But you're going to take this activity and you're going to culminate in a Socratic seminar approach, with all students being required to share equally in the scholarly discussion. Included in this discussion will be the responses to here. Now, can everybody respond to all 9? Absolutely not. You'll never get through. So the leader, you're responsible for making sure that everybody shares equally, but everybody may not can share out on everything. So you plan that accordingly. Then there's a second half of the book. The second half of the book is the Strengths Finder activity. The second half of this text includes additional resources for connecting with and identifying with your strengths as a leader. These pages include specific information for understanding the full focus of this activity. At the end of the text, you will find a packet of information that will provide you the necessary tools for completing this activity. Please note, you will need to purchase it, and I've said that already. You should also share what you're going to do. Now, this is leaders, whoever the Zoom leader is, everybody should have enough time that they share something about their results. Everybody may not respond to the 9 items up here, but everybody must share about their results and, the ahas. I want you to talk about the aha. What did you learn about yourself? What was a discovery that you made? And you talk about that. Now, your Zoom is for 40 minutes. If you have that, you may have to go in here twice to be able to fully cover this activity, but give it the time it needs to make sure that you have that you've covered everything. Now, when you put the assignment in for grade to Dr. Revis and me, this is what each individual has to do. Each individual will provide their personal responses to the 9 key prompts or quotes from the textbook reading, these 9. You're going to put your video link in there for the collaborative Socratic discussion, and your Zoom leader is going to send you that. You're going to put your Strength Finder personal results in there, and then you're going to provide us a reflection of those Strength Finder results. Narratively, what did it mean to you? Now, this is a lot of work. You have to pace yourself. So you need to begin looking at this now and, doing a little bit of this along each week until you get to week 8, because if you wait until then, it's going to be really, it's going to be pretty cumbersome to get that done and your other stuff if you wait until the last minute on that. Are there any questions at all about what's expected of that assignment? Does that pretty much make it clear what you've got to do? You're going to enjoy this assignment. You might not believe that now, but once you get into it, I've never had students that did not enjoy the results of this and finding out, what they found out about themselves. Okay. Dr. Revis, we've already talked about the CAAP, so I don't think we have to go back there. Unless anybody has any questions. One thing I do need to remind you, don't backslide on us. Don't backslide on us. You cannot forget APA 7th edition. Now, I had to send some messages back about, about capitalization. About everything is double spaced, throughout your work. That's before your headings, after your headings. Some of the references, you backslid on that because you single spaced it. Go back and fix it like it's supposed to be and do it right the next time. You only have one time to backslide, and then you can't backslide anymore. That's your one time. The other thing is, make sure, I know you may talk about it narratively, but you never have a meeting. You never lead in a meeting without having some type of agenda. You need to make sure that you have in your appendices with the CAAP somewhere you need to show that you are still working with and leading your PLC. Now, if you go to task 4 says you have to collaborate on that, the work that you have to do, the action plan that you have to do. It says you have to collaborate. Show that collaboration. Go back and do what you were required to do when you did the APSO and the APTEL for all of us. If you have to have a picture of you presenting, have a picture of the group and put an agenda in there. I don't want little things like that for the evaluator to look at it and say, they don't have that. And it could mean the difference between a 4 and a 3, or a 4 and a 3.5 or 3.75. So, make sure that you provide that evidence in an artifact in there under your appendices. Okay. Any more questions about the CAAP? Does everybody know what we expect of you now? Everybody on track with your schedule, and how getting this task 1 in and out of your way so that you can be on the road to getting task 2 done without and being able to pace yourself, and not get behind on it. Okay, Nora.
Hey, I just got a quick question regarding the provided templates for us,
Uh-huh.
because it seems like I guess on some of the tests the templates don't match like the expectations. So, like for an example, I received feedback to go in for task 2 and add a school profile, but on the template it doesn't list adding a school profile first for task 2. So, can we kind of walk back through the templates to just see if
No, and I probably wouldn't require that, and Dr. Revis wouldn't. But if you've got that information already in a previous evidence that you've done, so if it's not there and they ask you to do it, just put it in there because it's not going to hurt anything. Okay,
Okay.
and it just won't slow down the process.
Okay.
And they may ask you to do some things, and like I said, so that it doesn't slow you down. You've got a lot of that information you can just go pull from something else that you've done. Just put it in there and move on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking that question. Dr. Revis, let me pull up one more time the agenda, and that will...
I think we're down to talking about the PSEL standard
Let me
and
pull,
presentations.
right. Let me find that again. My agenda. Here it is. Okay. Now this is who presents next week. From my class, it'll be Julia, Chelsea, and Heidi. And again, we said we're going to be creative, and you can be creative in how you do it as long as it's you work as a team and you get the job done. Okay, That's what we're going to ask. And then you see Dr. Revis's team with that as well. Dr. Revis, I'll let you take the lead on this and see if they have any questions about anything.
Okay, so let me share my screen
And let
and
me stop share then. Okay, there you go.
um,
Mhm.
I'm going to go to the assignment, which gives us the information that we needed to know. And just make sure that we are on the same page as to what to expect, particularly the first groups that are going next week. You guys are going to set the pace and set the tone for this. So let's look at the slides. You must prepare a presentation. Some of it will be individual, and so somebody on your team has to make up the master slide deck, so to speak. You must include the following, and this should be 30. Each team will have only 30 minutes. I, for some reason, mischanging this. Only 30 minutes. But slide 1, you talk about the standard and what it means. Choose somebody from your group to do that. Slide 2, what does the standard mean? Measure and why is it important? And then slides.
Dr. Revis, what it is, it's in 2 places and you just didn't change that out. Stop sharing. Let me pull mine up.
Okay.
And that way you can go back and change that. That I don't want to confuse them on that. And that may, let me go back to.
And guys, we say no more than 30 minutes. Nobody's going to be offended if everybody on the team thoroughly presents in 20 minutes. May only take a team of 2 people 20 minutes. But if 3 people are on your team, it may take the whole 30 minutes. I don't know. But just pace yourself and time yourself as you go through this.
There it is. Yeah, there it is, Dr. Revis.
Okay. A maximum of 30 minutes. And so, in slide 2, this is a team consensus. What does it measure and why is it important? And then slides 4, 3, 3, 4, and 5, and 6 are individual slides where you talk as an individual team member about your school. Okay? So if Dr. Steb and I are on the same team, we're each going to take our school and we're going to interject. I'm going to have a slide 3. He's going to have a slide 3. But I'm going to go through and do my slides about my school first, and then he's going to move to his school. What does it look like for the school overall? And give examples. List 3 major strengths that you identify in your school in this standard. Remember, I'm talking about my own school. List 3 major opportunities for improvement or growth in this area, in this standard. And then I'm going to provide an overall rating of my schools on this standard and a list of artifacts that I would show to back up my claim. All right.
Right, and and when you do that, when you rate your school, you can, just like we rate you, we say that you're accomplished, you're proficient, you're maybe you just realize, when you look at all this, our school is just not good at this. It's okay to say that.
And make sure you make it clear, on what basis, upon what basis are
Right.
you giving your are you giving yourself this score or grade? And you need to be looking at appropriate data. Um, some data will pull your school report card data. That's a great place to find this. Some of it may come from pieces of climate surveys, teacher working conditions surveys, surveys you've done in the past in your coursework, whatever. And then on slide 7, you bring closure together as a group.
Right.
So 30 minutes maximum, but it doesn't have to be 30.
Right. But it needs to be enough that you don't shortchange yourself in your presentation
Right.
either. Okay. Um, remember the PSEL standards and the competencies. This is how, as an assistant principal and a principal, that you're going to be evaluated. This is the expectations from you. So it's not just important that you learn and you know about standard 1, the ones that's presenting next week. You've got to, it's important to every one of you, because guess what? You're going to be held accountable for all 10 PSEL standards and the 5 competencies. You're going to take technology competency. You're going to be held accountable for all of that yourself. When you're evaluated by the superintendent, or you're evaluated as assistant principal by your principal, they're going to look at all those standards, and they're going to look at where you are with all of those standards. So you really need to learn and grow from what everybody is going to say, because, and some of you that are already in administrative roles, you may have already experienced some of this in your evaluations already.
So, Dr. Stedman, the group's presenting next Wednesday night. When do they need to have this assignment submitted?
No later than, you need to, as a team, to have it to us no later than Tuesday night, so that we can look at it and make sure that, everything's good and going. Okay. So just as long as we get it, Tuesday, and I'd say between 6 and 7 o'clock, get it to us so that we will have time to look at it and to make sure everything's good. And if you don't hear back from us, you know that everything's good. Okay.
All right, we are at the point on the agenda that just want to review what is due when this week coming up. What is due on Sunday evening? Somebody tell me.
The case study.
The case study. That is your regular assignment. When is CAAP Task 2 due to us?
June 3rd.
And when is
That's
that?
When is that? Tuesday evening?
Next
Yes.
Tuesday by 6 o'clock. And that gives us time to look at it before we have class on Wednesday. Okay.
And guys, let me just share right quickly. If ever in doubt, go and look at your calendar, your course calendar, because we do use that. If you've got a doubt as to when something's due, go to your calendar. It'll tell you right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm probably beating a dead horse. You probably know this, but that's what's due, or was due on the 25th. So you can keep up with it right there. Because,
Go to Tuesday of the next week.
okay, Tuesday of next week. Well,
Okay.
Sunday evening,
Is right.
Sunday evening, and you have an upload box right there. You don't have to hunt for it. That'll take you right to your upload box. Tuesday evening, CAAP Task 2.
Dr.
Already,
Revis, let me make a comment about task 2. Now, that means it comes to us, and it should be, when it comes to us, it should be as accomplished as you think it can be. not proficient, but as accomplished. That means that you have cleared through Dr. Moreglia or Dr. Bullis. Now, can they give you valid feedback if you don't get it to them in enough time to be able to give you feedback to work back and forth with them with any editing that you need to do? So you've got to pace yourself. You can't wait until Monday and expect them to give the valid feedback. So you've got to pace yourself and go ahead and get task 2, make it a priority, and try to move on with it. Okay.
And if I were them, and I don't know if they've told you a deadline, I would tell you had to submit it to me at least by Sunday night at 6. I mean, that's giving them, you know, a day to get you feedback, and then you've got to do a revision. Maybe they've set you a time frame to do it on Saturday. I don't know, but you can't, like Dr. Stedman said, you can't get it to them on Monday night and think they can turn it around and you do anything with it.
So I think you'll do better this week because I think you should do better because you will be accustomed to what's expected of you now. You've gone through the first week. But if
And
you
then
still,
on Wednesday, and on
if you don't have,
Wednesday,
Dr. Effis, if you don't have CAAP 1 done, get her done. Okay?
yeah.
Get her done.
And then on Wednesday, you will have your recurring weekly class link. You don't have to go anywhere for it. Go to your calendar. I just like the calendar.
I do too.
Some instructors don't use it, but we do. All right, don't forget, before we turn everybody loose, I need to see everybody who has already submitted and been scored in TaskStream for the CAAP and or the SIOP.
And Heidi has a question. Heidi?
So I'm part of the first presentation group. When you want us to submit it to you by the day before, is that just through email or in the course shell? I might have missed it.
Put it in the course shell.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
For that assignment goes, yeah. Because the ones that's presenting will be the only ones that will put it in the course shell, this time. Dr. Revis, I was,
Unless you have questions, are we ready to let them sign off? Did you have any students you needed to keep?
No, I wanted to say though, I did want to say it appears that every student in both of our classes are present tonight. So good job. Good job. Let me ask you this in closing. Are you feeling better this week about things after class tonight? Are you feeling more comfortable with what you've got to do and where you need to go? Does it all make sense now? Don't shake your head, Brittany. Yes, you do. That beautiful smile. Yes, you do, Brittany. Reach out to us if you need to, though, okay? Reach out to us. Okay.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
Dr. Stedman, I have a question.
Okay. Who is this now?
I was just like individually, not for the group, for the benefit of the group. I just got a question. So I'm going to start like trying to get in like some hours. I'm in South Carolina, so I need to get like some hours for the clinical internship in an elementary because I want to be certified in both. I work in a middle school. I got the first 400 hours for middle school, and I'm gonna work like in a summer camp in elementary. I already talked to the administrator, and he's gonna give me some administrative hours for the internship. So my question for you is that if I still have Dr. I think her last name is Talent as my clinical coach. So do I have to arrange this meeting where she needs to meet the administrator so we can have the interview or not?
Dr. Talent, it was your clinical coach 1.
Yeah.
So she is not the same as what Dr. Moreglia is now. So if there are problems, then yes, you reach out to Dr. Talent and she'll be glad to talk with them. But unless you're having problems, did you say it's a different administrator?
Yes, because of course the one that I'm working or that I work with, it was my administrator from my regular school in the middle school. But right now that I'm going to go to this elementary school for the summer, so it's going to be a new administrator. So
yes,
I want
yes.
to know if we need to have that interview.
Yes, reach out to Dr. Dr. Tallett, and she'll be glad to meet with you and your administrator.
I emailed her yesterday, so hopefully I can just get some response from her then.
If you haven't, reach out to me and I'll reach out to her. Okay.
Okay, I will reply. I will just like CC you like that email, Dr. Steadman. Maybe she can
Okay.
reply.
Okay,
Thank you.
and just let me know if you don't hear from her though. Okay.
Thank you, Dr.
You're welcome.
Steadman.
All right, guys, let me show you what's happening. And Shell, I apologize. I thought I could just put let me reshare. I don't know why it won't let me share. Anyway, here's what I need for you to do. I need for you.
Dr. Evans, who are your 6 students? If you're one of those 6 students, raise your hand so we can see who you are. Okay, Christopher, Yesenia, Bartel, Heather. That's one.
I'm one of them too. I
Okay,
just can't raise my hand.
Cameron. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, got you.
Okay, I need for you to go into each Dropbox for the task. And all you need to do is on a document, a piece of paper, good Lord, on a document, one sheet document, all you need to write down is, I met CAAP Task 1 with a 4. You've already sent me your screenshots, but you've got to upload a physical document in that Dropbox before it will allow me to give you a grade and it stay there. I've given you grades, but then every time I go back in, it's showing that I need to go back and overwrite it again. It's driving me crazy. I can't handle it. And you just got to do that for every one of them. Go ahead and do it for all the CAAPs and all the PSYOPs if you've already sent me your screenshots of your scores. Now, I think, let's see, Cameron, did you get your screenshots in to me?
Yes, ma'am. I emailed them to you before the
Okay,
class started.
great.
Dr. Revis, and you know how you have to go back and combine the task in each evidence? You need to do that as well because she's got to give you a grade for that because there is a section for grading there for the CAAP and the PSYOP. So even for the combined task 1 through 4 of the CAAP, do the same thing that she's asking you so she can give you your grade for that. You don't have
There
to
is
worry
a Dropbox.
about, yeah, Dropbox.
Mhm.
You don't have to worry about the turn it in process because that was like a point anyway. So don't worry about that because you're clear with turn it in.
May I ask a clarifying question? So I know if you go into task stream, you can actually print out a PDF of all of your scores. If we upload that document into every single Dropbox for CAAP and PSYOP,
That's fine.
that's all we need to do. Okay.
That's all you need to do. I've got to have a document uploaded before it will let me score it and hold that score.
Yeah. Chris,
Does that
we
make
can go in task stream and we can see where all of you have completed this. We just, like she said,
I can't, Dr. Stemman. I can't see that.
I can see that. I have access
Okay.
to go back and look at that for whatever reason. I don't know. I guess I was the chosen one at that time, Dr. Revis.
If you were, but I can't see their task stream. That piece of it. All right, that's all I needed, guys.
But congratulations, guys, on getting so much done ahead of time. You're to be commended.
Any other questions before we go?
Yes, Dr. Revis.
Hey, Tatiana.
Hey, I went and reviewed your feedback and I just wanted some clarification.